So let's start with this story today. Hmm? As you know that more than homeopathy, I read parallel science. For last 20 years, I hardly read homeopathic books. The idea is that everything in a parallel field is there, your own principles. And the more you read parallel field, the more you get convinced. So in that, I was reading, a lot of stories, and I like reading stories. So I was reading about a girl called Ada Lovelace. And very interesting, and why I'm telling also there is interesting story here. Hmm? Who is this Ada Lovelace? Hmm? Yeah, yeah. They say she was an epitome of a perfect balance of both art side, that is what we call the right brain dominated sphere, and a scientific side, the left brain dominated sphere. If you recollect, the she is known as the first ever computer programming woman. She was the one because of which the whole computer started, actually, the first one. And interesting that who is she, and you will understand why. And her whole life, if you understand that how the both side was beautifully balanced, and when it was imbalanced, she went into one side. Now look, who was her parent? Very interesting. That she was a child of a romantic poet. And we know, Lord Byron. And mathematically brilliant aristocrat, Annabella, her mother, who was completely left-sided. Now imagine extreme right side father and extreme left side mother. And they were so extreme that they could not give each other what is missing actually. And their marriage didn't last long. And then Lord Byron went to Italy and then to Greece. And he continued his only the art story. And mother became hardcore left. She got convinced that the right is not good. So what happened to her own life, and when she saw father who was completely right. And then, of course, they had a daughter, this Ada Lovelace. Interesting, because she was staying with mother, she was only exposed to left dominated space, a logical, like mathematics space. Yeah, her mother remained completely left sided and enforced Ada to develop an interest in mathematics and logic in an effort to prevent her from developing the art side like her father, and totally discourage the poetical side of her. And she was a quick learner, so in a quick by the time she was teenager, she already developed a plan for engineering a flying apparatus. It was that great in the left side. And but see the interesting thing, that her mother could not erase her poetical side entirely, which was an equal part of her. In about a defense, she told her mother, "You will not concede me philosophical poetry. invert the order. Will you give me poetical philosophy, a poetical science? Hmm? And of course, mother was totally against of that. So only science. Till she met a person who was crazy. And then she kept studying with totally left brain oriented scientists, as I mentioned here, Michael Faraday and many others, Charles Dickens. They were total left brain oriented, and she was best at it till she met one guy, and then she started understanding poetical science, where the art and the science both are involved. Hmm? When she was 19, she met a guy called Charles Babbage, and he was eccentric mathematician, from a scientist, but from a poetic side, right side. And together they made a research called analytical engine, and that which is considered to be the first computer. And this happened because her imagination gave understanding which was not possible without her ability to imagine. Her ability to create mixed with her mathematical brilliance, the component she has inherited from both her parents, contribute to the leap forward to the science and humanity. Now that's, so see how when they both come together, this is what happens. And then in a 1951, she wrote to her mother mentioning she was working on regarding the relation of math and music. She was set on a path of keeping executing the ideal sync of both her right creative brain and left calculative brain that brought many transformational changes in the scientific discovery, history of discovery. And till today, that house exists where she worked, this is that house which is, people take a walk called philosopher's walk. Hmm? It is a part of a terrace at a worthy manor in the UK, known as the philosopher's walk. Yeah, to remember both the eccentric, where Lovelace and her partner baggage, where they used to walk in a alone blissful space, a right brain space, and discussing the science. Now, this is important. Now, this story teaches that what happens when the left remains the left and right remains the right. It's both is incomplete till they both come together. See that how when they come together, the best invention happens when you are in your alone blissful right brain space.